Okay, we're recording.
All right, I guess we can get right into the questions. So the first one is, how might participatory culture impact pedagogy, the curriculum, and educational practices in the classroom?
Any thoughts on that?
I wrote down a couple notes, so I could just read it.
Yeah, let's hear
For
it.
those of you who didn't read it, so one of the articles said that a participatory culture is a culture with relatively low barriers to artistic expression and civic engagement, strong support for creating and sharing one's creations, and some type of informal mentorship whereby what is known by the most experienced is passed along to novices. A participatory culture is also one in which members believe their contributions matter and feel some degree of social connection with one another. So that's kind of the definition. So based off of that, does anyone have anything about how it impacts education? I'd say, like, since it's about how it makes people feel comfortable about engagement and contributions, that it kind of gives that sense of like comfortableness in the classroom, which I think is important for students to feel comfortable engaging.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything?
I am listening. I'm just doing a little bit of research on this.
It also said, I guess, which could be how it affects the education in the classroom. It talked about kind of 4 different concepts that relate to participatory culture. And so the first one was affiliations, which is memberships in online communities that are centered around forms of media, so like Facebook, message boards, etc. And so with that, I think is a good way to like collaborate with people and to be able to share ideas, and kind of, it's more so to like the social media aspect of it, but I think it can also be used in schools.
Well, in a lot of my classes in university, we have mandatory blog posts.
Yeah.
And I feel that for some students that can be really helpful. And it can also be a really good way to do, like, this is your exit slip kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you teach a lesson and then you have your students go out and write in their blogs what they understand from this lesson.
Yeah, that's a good point. The second one is expressions, so producing new creative forms, such as digital sampling, video making, fan fiction writing, stuff like that, which I guess goes to the creative aspect of technology and how it can be used in the classroom.
Well, I'm just reading this article that's talking about a study that they did in 2005. And it says that 57% of teens who use the internet could be considered media creators. For the purpose of the study, a media creator is someone who created a blog or a web page, posted original artwork, photography, stories, or videos online, or remixed online content into their own new creation. So that's even like for music and such, like doing parodies or like remixes of songs, which is fairly easy nowadays with all of the technology that's around. So it's just to find a way to encourage our students to use this in pedagogical form. Because a lot of what we want to teach them is we want to give them a topic and have them create something on that topic. But a lot of students like to have more creativity than that. So it's trying to find a happy medium between giving our students freedom to be creative with their technologies, but also being able to get the same point that we want them to understand.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Should we look at the next question then?
Sure.
Okay. Discuss the skills you read about in further detail and any examples offered by Jenkin et al. I don't know it's not what that actually means, but
Yeah, so I have a list of all the skills. So basically, like just without going into detail about them, the new skills are play, performance, simulation, appropriation, multitasking, distributed cognition, collective intelligence, judgment, transmedia navigation, networking, and negotiation. So does any of those kind of stick out to anyone that they want to talk about?
the clay.
Pardon?
Clay.
Yeah.
When I think about clay, I think about like stop motion, which is actually a really fun project to do with your students. I've done one with my mom, and the kids get so into it because it has that physical form that students can actually touch, as well as the editing part of technology.
The skill was actually play, not clay, but that's a good point that you make.
Fair enough. Misheard that. Anyways, just ignore that.
It's just the artist in you.
It is. You say clay, I hear clay. You know?
But no, that is a good point, though. Because that kind of has to do with play. I mean,
in a way,
playing with clay.
But there is the need to find, like, because we're talking about technology and such, and a lot of students can't learn directly from technology. They need to have something physical to touch.
Mm-hmm.
So as a teacher, you're basically going to spend your entire career trying to find a happy medium so that all of your students are able to get something out of your lessons.
Yeah. I think that's the hard thing with technology too, because even with books and stuff, how with like ebooks and all that, because I used to read a lot and I never liked reading on an ebook.
Mm.
Like it never felt the same as holding a book and just reading a book. Like with ebooks, like I couldn't concentrate as well.
Yeah.
It didn't feel the same. So, I mean, if you look at that too with students, like they could have similar feelings regarding schoolwork or even just being distracted by having a computer or iPad.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many different kinds of learners. Like there's visual learners and kinesthetic learners, and trying to connect kinesthetic learners using technology is so hard because technology is let's sit down and do this thing on a computer, or let's sit down and do this thing on an iPad. Kinesthetic learners need to move. And granted, there's things like the Kinect that you can get with your Xbox or playing with your Wii, but if you want to do anything on a computer or on an iPad, you're most likely going to have them sit. And that can get really hard for kinesthetic.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Do you have any thoughts, Meg?
I think just in general, like with the skills that, like kind of like how we were talking about, I think it's important about balance. And like I was looking at the kind of about what we were talking about, like the multitasking one. And so it says like the ability to scan one's environment and shift focus as needed. And so I think that's kind of interesting because with computers, it is a different environment. And I feel like a lot of students are very, like when they have technology with them, they're just very either zoned in on that or the opposite, which could be good or bad, right? Because if it's being used technology-wise and they're really zoned in, then great, they're doing their work. But if it's just for non-educational reasons, then it could be a distraction from what's going on around them.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting about the environment, how
It's
like virtual reality and like all that stuff about.
It's the idea.
Go.
Don't text and walk because you're going to walk into somebody or something.
Yeah.
That happened to me the other day. I was going down the stairs at the university and I missed like 3 steps probably.
Oh my goodness.
But no one saw, so it was okay.
That's okay. I don't even have to be distracted to fall up the stairs, so you're doing better than me. And I did it in like rush hour up the stairs. There was like 9 people behind me and I fell up the stairs twice. Yeah, that's where my skill set is.
But yeah, I definitely think like everything with technology, it's just a whole new world.
A whole new world. Sorry, you guys caught me on a weird day. I'm in a weird mood.
How was your performance thing? Is that done?
Rocky? No, that's not done.
Okay.
We perform the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th of.
Oh, okay.
So that's next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won't be in class next week.
All right, well, there's one more question.
Cool.
Talk about the examples of digital practices young people are engaging in online and how you might integrate these practices into the classroom to support student learning. So digital practices.
Like Fortnite.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. I don't know what other games children play anymore. When it, like, for kids my age, it was like everybody was playing Roblox and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
All I
see,
know is that
mine
kids
was
play
like,
Fortnite.
when I was little, it was Webkins and
Yes.
Oh.
you know, that kind of stuff. Which, I mean, Webkins had some good games.
Webkins had
They had some educational games too. Like, I think they just need to bring Webkins back.
I think it still is a thing.
I think it is. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's not as good as it used to be.
They're just harder
Not
to
as
find.
popular. Yeah.
Like, I used to be able to find Webkins in every second store that you walked into.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to sell them at the dollar store that they had in one of the towns close to where I lived, but that dollar store closed and now I can't find them anymore.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that was like my biggest form of media
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Well, and a lot of games are very focused on the multiplayer aspect now.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting harder and harder to find single player games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was
That's a
a
good
lot of
point.
games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Sims and all of that that came out when I was a kid, and they were super popular, but now it's all, let's play Fortnite with my friends, or Splatoon, or Mario Kart, or something like that with my friends.
Yeah, have the microphone and headset on and like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And just kind of like shut yourself out from the actual world and live in this online world with this group of people that you've created.
Yeah. So what about, yeah, I don't know if that's like a good thing to support learning or bad.
Well, I know there was a lot of push when I was in elementary school to have like pen pals,
Oh, yeah.
and pretty much every kid nowadays has a pen pal. Like, you can ask any kid and they'll be like, oh, I have a friend that I play Fortnite with who lives in China. And it's like, whoa, okay. Do you
Yeah.
talk with this person? And they're like, oh yeah, all the time. Cool. That's
Yeah.
fun.
It definitely is a good way to be able to become more culturalized, I think, in the aspect that, like, yeah, like you can talk with people in other countries and,
Yeah.
you know, or even just be like exposed to like media from other cultures and things like that, which
Exactly.
even if you look at like in elementary school doing like current events, right? Like when I was in elementary school, it was just like reading a news article.
Yeah.
But I feel like that now could become way more interactive or just interesting with videos or, you know, like live videos, stuff like that.
Well, one thing that you want to stay really up to date with is what kids are doing online. Because what's really big now is like those Fortnite dances, like flossing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that is, but kids love it.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that you're staying up to date with what's going on so that you can integrate that into your classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to have the kids stand up and, okay, everybody, let's floss. But being able to recognize that if you're, say, like, having the kids dance around the room and some kid starts flossing, you can go, nice floss. Like, that's so good. that recognition will build
Yeah.
this great community with your students.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, oh my gosh, this teacher gets it. Whoa. They'll love it.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add?
Come on, guys. We've only got 6 minutes left. How's everyone doing on their site-specific thing?
Did you get her email earlier?
Pardon?
Yeah, about extending it.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Pumped. So happy.
Thank God.
Are you guys finished it or no?
I ride the deadline.
You what? Oh.
Yeah, I ride the deadline. I was going to start mine tonight. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I just need to start it.
I have
I'm
pictures.
about
from you.
halfway.
That's good.
Are you done
All right. Pardon?
Are you done yours?
I'm not finished, but our group is like, cause I'm in a group and we've been working on that one and the video game one, kind of. So
Yeah.
Have you guys received your marks for your infographic yet?
no.
Yeah, me neither.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I was hoping that we would get our marks back
Yeah.
before the second assignment was due, just to kind of get an idea of her marking and stuff.
Maybe that's why she pushed the due date back.
Maybe. But yeah, well, we went through all the questions, so if no one else has anything to add, then
Any burning questions that you have?
guess we're done.
Nothing that anybody wants to discuss?
Just to clarify, the meeting on Wednesday, is that with the full group?
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
Okay.
Because I believe she's back in the province.
Yes, she is. I had a meeting
She's in
with
the
her
office all week.
last week.
Perfect. All right. So, everybody's good?
Mhm.
Yep.
Cool. I'll end the meeting. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Bye.
Yeah. Good night.